Hey everybody, it's Sarah, aka the Mill Coach, and it is time for Epic Shit Challenge Day 12. Today I'm going to continue to talk about some of the leadership lessons that I've learned over the years. And when I first moved to Arizona, I got a job working as the employee development manager at a credit union called Arizona Federal. And one of the things I really loved about working at Arizona Federal is that they truly believed in developing people. And they did so in a lot of different ways. They offered the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People to their staff, and they offered this really cool idea of embodied leadership. And we worked with an organization called D.D.J. Myers. And this was the organization that introduced me to somatic leadership. And if you've never heard of somatics, one of your challenges today is to go and Google it. And to me, if I were to define somatics, it's about how you show up in your body. Right? How are you truly showing up as a leader? We did a ton of really cool stuff. We even went out into the desert and drove Land Rovers over boulders and some amazing things. At the time, I really didn't understand how it connected to leadership, but as I reflect back today, it was a really, really cool lesson because we were put into a situation that was completely different than anything that we'd ever experienced, and we were asked to do things that we weren't super comfortable with, like driving a really expensive vehicle over some really crazy terrain. And it was all about how are we being, right? Then in leadership or in your epic shitness, you can think of things in terms of how to do, but more importantly, you should think of things in terms of how to be, right? And so just loved this opportunity to explore this new thought or, new way of really embodying leadership. One of the other things that D.D.J. Myers brought to the table was a model that I think is really important to anybody who wants to do epic shit. And this model at the time was called the customer performer model. Today I think it's called the mutual commitment to success model. And no matter what your epic shit is, you're going to be dealing with other people, right? You may need them to help you in particular aspects of building your business or, growing an organization or whatever the case may be. And so the communication protocol or cadence that you establish with these folks is going to be really critical to your ultimate success, right? And so the model was really simple, and I'm actually going to post a copy of the model in our Facebook group. So if you actually want a physical copy, please go and check out the Files tab. But anyway, it talks about the fact that in every interaction there is a customer, and that's the person who's making the request. Right? And then there is a performer, and that performer is the one who is responsible to actually complete that request. The customer's job is to declare success, but even more importantly, before you get to declaring success, really defining what is success. And the performer, their job is to say, hey, I've declared that I am complete with what your request was. Right? And the performer has some really important roles. Say, for instance, the customer isn't really clear on what it is the conditions of satisfaction are. It's the performer's job to really say, hey, what are those things that are really going to matter most to you to declare this a success? Right? So there's customers and there's performer. So a lot of times you're going to be the customer making the request, right? And saying, these are the things that I need your assistance with. Other times you're going to be the performer where you're going to be actually, doing whatever the task is. And, it's really important, again, on either side that you're being very clear on what does that end in mind look like? What does the finish line really, really need to have, right? So in this communication, there's always going to be feedback, right, along the way. Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, I need some greater clarification here, and so forth. Now, when the customer makes a request, the performer has a couple of options, right? Because you don't always have to do everything that the customer's asking, right? Sometimes it's an easy yes, hell yes. It's an accept, right? Sometimes, though, they're going to make requests of you that you don't want to do. Maybe it doesn't align with your, epic shit, your purpose, your passion, your schedule, whatever. And so you can simply decline. And one of the things that I challenge you today to really embody is the no. Right? If somebody's asking you to do something that you don't want to do and it doesn't really align, then say no, and say no without qualifying it. Well, I can't because of all these other things. It's like, no, I can't because I have some other things that really need my attention. Okay? The performer may also negotiate or renegotiate and say, you know what, I can do this first part of the task, but I can't do this other part. You're going to have to find somebody else to do that. Right? So there's maybe some wiggle room in here. You know, maybe somebody comes to you with a request to do something and you really like part of it, but the other part you're like, hell no, I don't want to do that. Don't. Right? So you can renegotiate the terms. And then the final opportunity that you have as a performer is to commit to commit. Right? This is I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to commit to this, but you know what? I'm going to follow up with you by Friday at 5, and I'm going to let you know. Right? So don't feel like when you're in this kind of pressure situation, when people are asking you to do things for them, that you have to do it right away. Okay? Say, I'm going to get back to you. So that's what the performer can do. Now, the customer can also do all of those things. They can say, yep, that sounds cool with this renegotiating. Nope, not going to do that. I'm going to find somebody else, so they're going to decline. They can negotiate back with you and say, well, I know you said you wanted to do part A and not part B, but how about you do A and half a B? Right? So there's, again, some communication back and forth. And then they can also do the commit to commit to say, you know, actually, I need to go talk to my partners to see if it would be okay to take this approach because it's a little bit different than what we had anticipated. Right? So just know that in any interaction, there are always opportunities, right, to make it exactly what you need that's going to fit with what your epic shit is, right? So make sure that you're asking what are those conditions of satisfaction or conditions of success, and make sure that you are moving forward in that embodied way that people can see your sincerity, they can see and feel your competency and your capacity to do this, and ultimately your reliability to really, you know, make shit happen. So just keep that in mind, right? Sometimes you're the customer, sometimes you're the performer, but everybody in the interactions really has the opportunity to clarify what success looks like. So today, what does success look like for you? Right? That's your challenge. What requests do you need to make of others to help you get your epic shit out there? Right? And ultimately, you know, you can also make offers to people. You know, maybe you want to perform for somebody. You know, is there an offer that you want to put out there for somebody that is going to be really beneficial for the whole world? Right? So what requests do you need to make? What offers do you have to put out there right now? And how can you make sure that you are making those conditions of satisfaction super duper clear? That's your challenge for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Yep, the weekend's coming, but we're not stopping. The hustle continues. You guys are beautiful. You're rocking. Put your awesome out there, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.